train means the history, the origin of the company, the travel, the new means of communication, how the world changed in the 19th century. And Mark is all about how fashion should be in this beginning of the 21st century.
Marc Jacobs is a genius. The whole thing, the whole atmosphere, everything is great. This is one of my favorite shows. Watching Marc work is like truly watching a great director.
You know what was so amazing was the way the showmanship in the show absolutely was met by the showmanship in the designs. And that's really incredible.
After the last show, the spring show where we had the carousel, we thought, what are we going to do next? And we came up with an idea. We were like, I don't know, let's have a train. So we made a train, and then we had to create a train station for the train to go through. And then we thought, well, the women have to have some kind of luggage and baggage, and we thought it was nice to do bags that were, you know, very chic, but very sturdy and very about like practicality. So we looked at luggage and old shapes of Vuitton that was really luggage inspired. And of course we made them in small proportion, big proportion, fur, sequins, everything. So some of them were more travel and some of them were more like just for a trip.
The genius of having porters carrying the accessories. So there was nothing that felt commercial about it, but it was commercial genius.
I loved it, of course. Fantastic. It's all about travel and fashion. That's all the universe of Vuitton.
We started to think of this idea of a romantic trip and who these women were on a train and where they were going, who they were leaving, who they were going to see. Were they from the country to the city to the country, where, you know, like this whole kind of narrative, which gave us a kind of dreamy, melancholy, sort of romantic idea to create this collection.
Loved it. It was like a dream.
I think it's very apt that we were on a train into the past, because that's what the Louis Vuitton brand is based on: travel and luxury travel, and you know, nobody does it better than Marc at Vuitton.
And the fact that he pulled off something where the clothes felt like they belonged to the era of the romance of travel, which is of course the history of Vuitton, and yet they were so contemporary, you know.
I like this show. It's so amazing that dress is so amazing.
Oh, it's extraordinary. It's such a show.
Any pieces stand out in particular?
Well, I love the ostrich coats.
Marc's become extraordinary at how he builds decoration into the clothes. They never feel plunked on. And it was just spectacular.
We just liked the magic of all these glittery surfaces and how to create them, so we made these wool blankets and wool brocade, and I love the idea of craft. I mean, I like how humble and naive something like applique is, or, you know, sewing on stones on something. So it wasn't very sophisticated embroidery. I mean, it was sophisticated in its naivety, but we made these color forms, like we cut shapes like cameos out of foil, and then we re-embroidered them onto like wool brocades that we had developed, and then we made these like laser etched plastic stones which we put on top of those. So we layered everything to create this really, super, like almost Klimt like, textures and stuff.
There were so many interesting parallels with other collections this season. The skirt or dress over pants silhouette. There's definitely a romance to it, and I think that romance is an idea that has like really taken root this season. People are dreaming a lot in fashion.
Very graceful and beautiful, and we all like the idea of exaggerating the proportions in a very elongated way with a high waist. I mean, it's super feminine, but it's not the femininity of like a tight dress and a tight waist, It was just very graceful and very elongating, I think. And actually very flattering for people even who aren't super tall, because it just gives you such a long leg when you bring the waist up. So
I thought it was spectacular, an enormous triumph. Beautiful.
Any pieces stand out?
I wouldn't pick it apart.
It was really great. I think it's a journey people would be very happy to go on again.
like when I'm on a plane, I always get very sad. Like there's something, you're so totally helpless, like you're stuck, and I mean, I don't mean that in a bad way. And I think there's something about being on a plane and being alone, or, again, going somewhere or leaving somewhere that has that kind of lovely melancholia, not in a dark way, but just something that lets you just escape for a bit.